Ferrucio Lamborghini once saw Enzo Ferrari, a cloudy day in Italy, looking at him giving a speech. He told his friend, "He talks like he owns the world." And a little bit of anger entered inside of him. One day, as he built a successful company, years later, he built a successful tractor company. He noticed a problem with the clutches of Ferrari. And so he went to him. And after multiple attempts to be able to speak with him, he got a moment and he told him, "Mr. Ferrari, I own multiple of your cars. They are the greatest cars ever. They are beautiful, but their clutches suck. They keep breaking. I own Lamborghini. We make the best tractors in the world, and I think we should partner. I will make you the best clutches, and Ferrari will become absolutely perfect. What do you say? Ferrari and Lamborghini." And so Ferrari, entering his car, said, "I say go back to your tractor, farmer." My Italian accent is not great, but bear with me. And from this moment, anger took over Lamborghini, and he decided to beat Ferrari and make a better car. He did build a successful company, but you might not know about other aspects of his life and how they turned out to be, and you might not want them. I'll tell you about this a little bit more in a few minutes, but in this episode I'm going to basically help you prevent yourself the regrets of being driven by anger and fear, and why it's the worst thing you could do to remain motivated by these things, because they will destroy you from inside out. And I'll tell you why they destroy you and how you can stop being motivated by them, because it's pretty hard if you don't have the 4 steps I'm going to give you in this episode. And I'm going to tell you what to be motivated from now on. It's going to be great. It's going to be tremendously useful. I know it was extremely useful to me, because I am still to this day a little bit driven by, up until recent years, I was very motivated by anger and fear. These were my main drivers. And I started to change, and I started to notice some good things, but I still was, up until one day this week, I was fully free from these. And I'll tell you what happened and how I did it and what were the results of this. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Ivaldi. I went from being a broke personal trainer in France to working with millionaires around the world and building up my own business to 7 figures soon. And on this podcast, I document what I learned to help you become truly free and successful. Free financially, emotionally, spiritually, free geographically, in all the sense of the term, so you can become basically everything you are meant to be. Everything God created you to be, I want you to become everything. I want you to be having the best possible life, and have just an awesome life that you're just proud of looking back at. That's what I did. I'm happy I did this, and I did it the right way, right? Not from an anger and fearful place. So if this interests you, subscribe. And if this video helps you out in any way, like it. And if you think someone else would benefit from it, share it, right? Let's get into it. So the first lesson I got this week was that I had to stop being driven and motivated by fear and anger. All my life, I was driven by that. Up until very recent years. And I started to have a mission. I started to do something good to make the world a better place. But still, what motivates me more is fear and anger. It pushes me more because I still have a little bit of the fear and of the anger inside of me. So there's no place for another emotion to come into it. And this other emotion is the emotion of love. Bear with me, don't cringe, please. It's a real thing. It actually is served. Just get used to this thing. Coming from a place of love in your heart. Not just just don't be cringed at by this. If you are cringed at by this, this is even more important to you, right? Because this means that you're really out of this. thing. And maybe this was the case for me as well. This is why I kind of relate to that. So when there's anger and fear, there's no place for love, or not, at least not full, complete love. And once I did apply the 4 steps I'm going to tell you in a bit, I was able to feel for one day completely free. And actually up until now, like just, yeah, I feel kind of free of anger and fear. I don't have these anymore, and I'm operating more out of love and purpose, right? Trying to help people, having a mission. And I did this to a point when I started, like maybe 2 years ago, something like that. I started having a mission in the business, and it helped me out, but I still had some kind of motivation from fear and anger, and this is what motivated me more. I got a lot of things done with anger. I started my business with anger and fear, and I was running with this, but the consequences of this, I noticed them, and you get tired so quick. These are like being motivated by anger and fear is like running on, like your fuel being candy instead of a healthy food. You get real fast, a lot of energy real quick, but then you just come back down real quick as well. You don't have endurance. You don't have the ability to persist for long periods of time. And this is what you need if you want to succeed. Truly, you need to be able to sustain long periods of time and not anger with this. Anger destroys you from inside out. And for example, Lamborghini, what happened was that he did build a successful business, and at the end what happened is, if you want to watch the movie and don't want to be spoiled, well, I'm going to spoil you right now if you want to watch the movie Lamborghini. But honestly, the most important, interesting thing is actually the process of how this happens. It's not necessarily what happened, because actually I think a lot of people know, like, he built a successful company and his personal life was not that great, right? But in the end, he has a big meal. He has a meal on a gigantic table in his mansion, right? He's in a mansion, he's dressed well, and on this gigantic table, on the 2 ends of this, there's Lamborghini and his son, right? And he asks him, was this, like, he tells him, Dad, you have it all right now. You built it all, you're one of the most successful men on the planet. You have it all, the cars, the mansions, you have it all. The boats. Was this all worth it? And then Lamborghini is like, kind of like silent. And then his son says, well, you know, I just had to leave anyway. So he leaves. And the reason why he was silent is because maybe it was not worth it. At the very end, you see Lamborghini driving in his car, a Lamborghini, on a beautiful landscape. Very beautiful. He drives in like a luxurious car that he built himself. And he's thinking, and he doesn't seem too happy. And then his memory comes back. His memory of his wife giving birth. He promised her to be there for her while she gives birth, because she knew it was going to be today. And in the morning she said to him, like, don't be late from work. And he knows he got to be there early for her. And he's at his manufacturing company, and he has someone designing his logo. And because he's motivated by fear and anger, he's just so obsessed by that, by beating Ferrari, that he stays at work later, and then he goes fast home. He runs because he's just like, oh no, I just let myself be obsessed with this. And he runs home, he sees blood on the ground. The maid tells him she went to the hospital, and then he starts having like tears, and he drops his logo, his beautiful logo designed like it was like a fabric, like something like in silver or I don't know, but or maybe even gold. His Lamborghini like logo, he drops it, he runs to the hospital, and his kid is born. Not only his kid is born, and he was not there for him, for his wife. His wife was screaming his name during, while she was giving birth and like suffering, and she died in the process. She lost too much blood, and Lamborghini was not here for her. And so you can imagine how this feels. He was destroyed, and this created it fueled even more his anger, I think, because he was angry at himself now for not being there. And then he had this kid. He couldn't even be really happy for this moment because he just lost his wife, and his wife was everything for him. He loved her so much, and they had so much good moments together. And at one point, he also loses his best friend with whom he built Lamborghini, the tractor company, and the cars. He lost his friend. He said like, okay, you're just going like in the wrong direction here. I can't do this with you. I own the 25% of this, and you do whatever you want with the 75% left. And so he loses his best friend. He loses his wife, the love of his life. Like for real, like he actually goes to the funeral, right? He loses her like physically. He loses his friend. He's not with him anymore. And he built this great company. His son grows up. He gets married with another woman. He's not there for her. He gets angry very quickly. He has a very bad relationship with her. He cheats on her. He is not here for his kid. And he gives him everything, right? He gives his son everything. The boats, the cars. He has the best life ever. Supposedly, like physically and like luxury, everything is good for him. But his father is not here for him, right? Lamborghini is just too occupied with this anger, with this like fear, like I cannot lose. I cannot like, right? And this is what I'm driven most by as well. I cannot lose. I don't want to lose. More than I want to win, I want to do this good thing. I don't want to lose. I'm angry. I don't want this bad place to be in. And so you can see, I still have a little bit inside of me of this anger. And like I remember quite vividly how it feels like, because it's not just something I used to run on. Like since I was a kid, a very little kid. Since I was 12 years old, I can remember I had so much hate and anger inside of me that I started doing push-ups every single day. Like the second I woke up, not even the second after I woke up, I started doing push-ups every single day because I knew like I was angry. I was angry at this kid that bullied me in school in the previous years. And so I was like, never again. I'm angry at this kid, and I had this kid in my mind, and I started doing push-ups every single day. It's served me because this is all I had at this point, right? This is all I could have ever. This is all I had to be motivated. I didn't have something to be looking forward to. I just had this negative scenario that I had in my mind, this kid bullying me, hitting me, and I didn't want this to happen again. And so I just wanted to prove this kid wrong and beat him. And so I started doing push-ups every day. I was like, never again will I be weak. And so I started doing this. But the problem is that sometimes you can't be, it's like that you can start with what you already have, right? You have this at your disposal, you have fear, you have anger at your disposal, you use it. But if you stay on this, if you stay running on it, it's not a good place to be in. You can start to just shift something in you. Never again will I do this. You're determined, you're decided. But then you need to change. You cannot keep running on this because it will destroy you. And so Lamborghini, at the end, he has plenty of regrets, right? He's not here for his kid, and this most likely was not worth it. So now I'm going to tell you how to not be motivated by this anymore. And so the second lesson I learned was that to feel free, heal your wounds, you need to heal your wounds, right? And this is basically why you run on anger and fear, because you have wounds that you have not healed from. You have people that you still have resentment toward. You have not forgiven others for having wronged you in some way, especially your parents, right? To me, it was especially my parents. Sometimes it's, for example, maybe for Lamborghini, it was this guy, but this guy actually, I think, reflected his father, because his father was not for him when he wanted to run in this company and build this company. He was against him. He felt rejected by his father, and then he also felt rejected by Ferrari. And so this kind of was the same wound, the same thing that fueled him. And so you must forgive everyone that wronged you in the past. And let me tell you, like, this seems like it's like a little woo-woo, a little like spiritual, like it seems like not really practical. But let me tell you, it's very practical. Like, you actually feel it, and you have like ways to do it. Like, I have a like very specific way of doing it, very practical way of doing it, because I'm not that, just too spiritual woo-woo kind of thing. Like, I'm not that much. I'm a Christian, by the way. I'm Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit and everything. But I have a more practical way of actually like applying my faith. I need it actually just to know what I got to do. And so here are the steps: to let go of what is currently holding you back, to forgive people and empower you to finally get to your goals and move forward without the old weight slowing you down. Because this is preventing you, like all these people that you don't forget, you don't forgive them. You might say, this guy like wronged me like crazy. Like, this guy bullied me, or maybe this woman cheated on me, or maybe this, like, whatever happened. This is unforgivable. This is impossible. I cannot forgive them. Like, it was too much. I cannot do this. The thing is that you don't do this for them. It's not because they deserve forgiveness that you're doing it. Do it for yourself, because it's holding you back. And also you can do it because you just don't want to be like them. You want to be better than them. You want to forgive them and give them grace. And for me, as a Christian, I believe in God and Jesus Christ that died for our sins. Like, we are not worthy of having Jesus Christ die for our sins because we did something wrong. We wronged him, actually, and he still dies for us. And so this means he forgives us, right? He gives us grace. And you want to be graceful as well. You want to give people, like, there's this scene in Fast and Furious where Vin Diesel, I think it's the main like character, right? He, in the beginning of maybe Fast and Furious 7 or something like that, he runs a race in Cuba, I think, and he wants to win the car for his nephew, something like that, his cousin or something like that, because anyway, so he wants to win the race, and the guy is the guy that holds, like, is the main guy, the main known famous guy in Cuba, that he kind of owns the place. And he runs the race, and during the race, this guy cheats, and he puts people on the way so that they just make him would lose the race. And at the end of the day, Vin Diesel still wins the race. And he wins it. It was very dangerous. He put his life in danger. The car is completely broken, and it goes in fire. And so the main guy, the guy that owns the place, that kind of cheated on the race, has to give his keys to the winner, right? So he gives his keys, and so Vin Diesel takes it, and he looks at him, and he says, "Here, take your car back. And it was like, I forgive you. I won it. I could take this. It was my right, but I still give it to you. I give it back to you. The respect is enough for me. Because he said like, basically, so here, you won the car and my respect. And he said, your respect is good enough for me. And he gives back his car. It's kind of like he's forgiven. And what he says at one point, he says, by doing this, he changed the man. He changed him. Like because of his grace, the man was now full of love, right? He was not only sorry to have done what he did, which was wrong. He wanted to cheat during the race, but he also now was fully with Vin Diesel. And at one point, Vin Diesel needs him. I forget the name of the character, like the Vin Diesel plays. But he wins the race. He wins his respect. And he wins his help. Because at one point he needs help and this guy is fully with him, right? This guy has forgiven me. He has let me keep my car and keep my honor in front of all of these people that were watching the race. He still won and gave me his right from the win. Like right now he became changed. He was not angry at Vin Diesel anymore. He loved him, right? Because at first, Vin Diesel forgave him and loved him anyway. So this is what you need to do with all the people that wronged you. So here are the steps. 1, define the situation and the person that hurt you. Maybe the situation that you didn't like, the situation that made you feel lonely. These are the 4 main emotions also. Maybe it made you feel lonely, disappointed, hurt in some way, physically or mentally, or rejected. So these are the 4 ways. The 4 emotions that maybe you felt. And the main question I asked myself is, what were the moments and people that hurt you, made you feel bad, lonely, disappointed, hurt, rejected, since you can remember up until now? So I went into my life and thinking from I was born, from I was 0 to 1 year old up until now. Who were the people that hurt me? What were the circumstances that I hated and I didn't like and made me feel hurt in some way? And I listed all of them, right? So I listed all of these situations. And then, step number 2. On each of them, you describe the feeling. You describe how you felt. What you didn't like, what you felt. And this kind of like puts you back into it. Right, puts you back into it. Like at one point, for example, I had come up on a situation where some moment that hurt me was, and I really remember, and affected me really vividly, was the death of my cousin. And when I wrote down how I felt in this situation, how it happened, like I had tears in my eyes, right? Like I relived it by describing the feeling. So you want to do this when you have some time off and you can be alone and feel the emotions, feel the anger or the sadness, everything that comes up, feel it. And then what you do is that you forgive the person. You understand them and you understand the situation, or maybe also you forgive yourself, because sometimes you are either angry or you hold something, like you still have something against either someone that wronged you, or either yourself for doing something that you didn't like, or the situation in itself. You are angry of the fact that this situation happened. I was angry, and I was angry that, my cousin died. Why? It's unfair. Like, he was like 20 years old, something. Like, it's unfair. Like, he didn't have to die. Like he just slept and didn't wake up. Like, what? Nobody could have guessed it would have happened, especially him. And I loved him so much. He was like a big influence in my life since I was a kid. And yeah, I was angry at this. I was sad. And then I forgave kind of the situation. Or maybe sometimes you are angry against God because of this, like the universe. You're angry at the universe for having this situation happen because there's no one to blame. Or maybe you're angry at yourself. So you forgive this person. You understand the situation. You understand that there's something that you don't understand, or you understand the point of view, or that this was necessary, or this was useful in some way, and so then you reframe. So this is the first step. You define the situation. Second, you describe the feeling. Third, you forgive the person, the situation, yourself. And 4, you reframe and you are grateful for the entire experience. And for example, you say, okay, I'm grateful for this to have happened because it taught me this. Because if this didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened. So I'm happy that this happened. And I'm completely okay with it. And I feel actually love for this person. I love them. I understand them. For example, if for the kid that bullied me, I actually understand him. I have love for this kid. I remember when I was a kid and he hit me and I was bullied, or other older boys that, stole my Pokemon cards and made me always feel insecure and feel like they were going to hurt me, and they actually did at some point to hurt me and hit me, and I feel love now toward them. No hate, nothing. No fear anymore, because this also makes you let go of the fear. You're not afraid anymore. You're not angry anymore. You understand them because their situation was also I remember this kid telling other people that his father always told him that if he gets hit, he will hit him even harder, right? So he wanted to be the one to hit the kids before they hit them, before they hit him, right? And so because of this, because of his father, he had this fear, and so he created fear in others, right? So I understand him. I love him. It was not his fault. I forgive him fully. And this is what you want to do. This is so important. Do this, and do this for all the people. I had a list of 40 things I need to do. So on these 40 things, I described the feeling, I described the person, the situation, how I felt, and then I forgive the person. And I also made 2 main focus points on my father and my mother, and do this as well. What do you hold back? Are you not happy with how your parents were since you were a kid up until now? Do this specifically for your father and specifically for your mother. And you need to describe the situation, how you feel, what you're mad against, why you're mad against them in some way, what you may hold back against them, and forgive them. Understand them, understand the situation, and just let go, right? And when you let go, you love them truly, you are grateful for this to have happened, because maybe you wouldn't have all the benefits that you have now in your life. You start being free. Free of the anger, free of the fear that they put inside of you. For example, my mother, at one point, when we were around people and around her family, she screamed at me and she hit me. Not that hard, but to me, I was a sensitive kid, and it was kind of traumatizing for me. And I cried a lot, and I was so angry at her because she disciplined me in front of everyone. And she made me feel so ashamed. And so because of this, I was afraid of now doing anything in front of people. Because if I did something wrong, she would hit me. And she would discipline me, and she would scream at me, and I would feel ashamed. I would feel like I need her approval to do something in front of anyone, right? And so right now, growing up, I needed approval from other people. I needed to really feel safe around other people to be able to speak up or anything like that, right? I was so afraid of speaking up in front of groups, even 5 people. If I had to hold a monologue in front of 5 people, even if they were kind of my friends, I would be sometimes at one point very scared, very stressed out. And maybe I was doing a great job of not showing it, but let me tell you, I was scared. At some point, it was even in front of my close family, my brother, my father, my mother, just in front of them, I was scared to just speak up, to just speak, because I would be scared that I wouldn't get approval, I would be rejected in some way because of this kind of trauma I was in. Once I let go of this, And I kind of did years ago, but this time I did it kind of like fully, right? And so right now I can speak in front of people. Right now I'm more comfortable. I'm not saying I'm fully comfortable speaking in front of like a big public, because this kind of like is another fear that you got to get used to it by doing it. But I'm not afraid of speaking in front of 5 people. That's like just like when I was a kid. I'm not like, I can do this. I have way less fear and less anger. And I feel less the need of approval for people. So you need to really do this. It's so important. And once you do this, you are motivated by love and purpose. And you want to do this for something greater, right? You want to do this because you love people. You love your older self. You want to help people out. And to me, what helps me tremendously during this week was also listening only to faith-based content and focusing on God, focusing on Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. And I really felt His presence like help me. If you're not a Christian, you can leave this out for now, but like, let me tell you, it helps you tremendously. And this is by focusing on Christ, on loving Jesus Christ that died for me on the cross when I didn't deserve it, and on this grace that He given me. This made me be able to have even more love and have true full love inside of my heart and just let go of anger. And one of my prayer was, like every day I've kind of like prayed, Jesus Christ, my God, help me let go of anger and fear, not be motivated by these anymore, and be motivated truly by you, and like just complete love, and truly love you and focus on you instead of focusing on that, on these older motivations. It may help me do this. And He actually did help me, and it feels liberating. It feels tremendously like so great. So I would encourage you to do this. And yeah, if this helped you, share it with a friend that you think it might help. Like it's not cringe, right? It's not cringe to have like this kind of love inside of you. It's like actually a good thing. It's actually maturity to be able to be motivated by love instead of anger and fear. This is when you become actually a real man to me. So if this helped you, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and go do these 4 steps. It's your duty right now. You know you got to do it, so do it.